House Republicans are leading a push to keep transgender athletes from participating in women's sports programs. Lawmakers recently passed a bill that would amend Title IX to recognize gender as based on a person's biology at birth. President Biden has said he would veto the bill, arguing it discriminates against children. Our next guest sponsored that legislation. Florida Congressman Greg Steube joins me now. And first of all, Congressman, why did you sponsor this bill and what prompted you to put it in motion?
Yeah, this has been a fight that we've been fighting for the last 4 or 5 years. When we were in the minority and the Democrats had control of the House, they passed the Equality Act, which does away with the biological definition of what a woman is. So I at least tried to file an amendment in the Judiciary Committee to save women's sports because Congress created Title IX specifically for women to have a collegiate and high school competitive atmosphere for them to be able to compete athletically and not have to compete against biological men. Completely undermines Title IX, and of course it failed. And when we took the majority back, this has become a bigger issue. You've seen hundreds and hundreds of cases and much notable cases reported around the country where you have instances of biological men taking medals from women, taking scholarships from women. And it was very happy to see that we got that passed a couple weeks ago on the House floor.
Meanwhile, let's listen to House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries on the trans sports bill. Let's listen.
The extreme MAGA Republicans are trying to sensationalize an issue that doesn't really exist in the way that they are falsely portraying. You want to bully trans kids and create an issue because you think it's politically going to benefit you. I believe it will not.
I gather you don't see it as bullying. Again, you sponsored the bill. Should there be any exceptions?
Well, first of all, this is a 70–80% issue across the country, across political spectrums. Moms don't want their daughters in locker rooms with men. It's a widely supported issue. And this argument that we're bullying trans kids, look at Leah Thomas. Does she look like a child to you? She's a foot taller than the women that she beat for Olympic medals. This is about allowing an opportunity that was created by Congress over 50 years ago for women to have athletic competition. And if they want biological men to compete with biological women, then we should do away with Title IX, and it would do away with women's sports altogether. That's not what the American people support. Any child that is competing can compete in that child's gender for boys' sports and women's sports, just like it's been for thousands of years in history.
I want to take a look at a Fox News poll on transgender issues that voters consider a major problem. Here are the results. Attacks on trans families, 57%, and trans women in women's sports, 54%. Meanwhile, the Democratic-controlled Senate, again, is unlikely to take up the measure. President Biden said he would veto it. Also, generally speaking, young people seem to be more tolerant of the LGBTQ community's take on living. So might Republicans appear to be out of step with the future of our country?
No, absolutely not. All the polls I've seen have us. This is a 70–80% issue across political spectrums. The American people support, and this whole idea that this is just extreme MAGA Republicans. Every single Republican voted for this bill. Republicans that are in Democratic districts because they realize how important this issue is to women, especially women that are competing in athletics. And this is a winning issue for us going into the 24 election. The Democrats are on the wrong side of this issue, and we stand for truth.
Do you think this is another issue that will be redirected to state-by-state laws?
I think that's a possibility. You've seen states like Florida and other states take a stand on this issue, and I would encourage them under the constitutional rights of state sovereignty to be able to do that. Since, as you said, Biden's going to veto this if it gets to him. We have a Democratic Senate that's obviously not going to take this up, but every single member of the House was forced to vote on this issue. So now every American knows how their member of Congress stands on allowing biological men in their daughters' locker rooms or being able to compete with female on the athletic field.
If I may get personal for a second, is there any, I'm not sure if you have children or not, but, you know, everybody has nieces, nephews, cousins, et cetera, younger people in their lives. How do you address this issue with them? What are they saying to you?
Yeah, I have a 12-year-old son who agrees with me wholeheartedly. He competes in athletics. And also, I think what is more impactful and powerful in this is all the testimony from the women that has had to deal with this. Riley Gaines talked about losing a medal to Leah Thomas. I have a constituent, Emma Wyant, who also lost a medal to Leah Thomas, who, before he identified as a woman, used to compete in men's swimming. So all across the country, I think the most powerful testimony is all the women that came to Capitol Hill to testify about this happening to them and them losing scholarships, opportunities, medals, and Olympic medals for competing when men were being able to compete with them.
And we'll leave it there. Florida Congressman Greg Steube, thank you very much.
Thank you.